For more on what investors can expect at JPM, let's bring in Portal Innovation CEO John Flavin. The VC invests in early-stage life sciences companies, also providing lab space and industry partnerships to its portfolio companies. John, great to have you with us.
Hi, Melissa. Great to see you again.
You will be there, of course. How will the tone be different because of an incoming Trump administration in terms of deal making, et cetera?
Yeah, I mean, 2024 was a relatively rough year for biotech, biopharma, and pharma stocks. You know, the dampers last year were primarily inflation, and then you had the election uncertainties. You know, with the election behind us, there was an initial concern around who is coming in as head of HHS. That noise is starting to subside, but the stocks really took a hit, you know, toward the end of the year. As you enter into 2025, I think there's reason for optimism. You know, with inflation generally in check, with tax cuts on the horizon, which favor, you know, riskier bets and riskier stocks, as well as an administration that I think, outside of the noise and hype, will be quite friendly to biopharma and pharma as it relates to pricing, and also the FTC. You know, JP Morgan is such an exciting event. I think it will be an event that will be looking toward a more optimistic, hopeful 2025. And I think that you're going to see a lot of venture activity leading in that respect. The public biotech markets, I think you're going to see more IPOs come back and a lot of deal making beginning to happen with a friendlier FTC and markets that, you know, are not as afraid of inflation overhang. You're going to see a lot more activity in the biotech sector.
In terms of VC money, John, you know, maybe a year or maybe 2 years ago, it was, you know, anything that had to do with obesity would get money. How has that changed, if at all? I mean, given the performance of the publicly traded stocks, you know, weren't as strong in 2024.
Yeah, I think you're going to continue to see investments go into the obesity space, but that won't be the only space where you're going to see the investments taking place. You know, certainly, I think a key theme will be large market opportunities. So writ large, that's cardiometabolics, within which you have the obesity opportunities. I think that the obesity opportunities that people are going to be looking at going forward will be to work and identify, you know, pill form, looking at side effects with the GLP-1 agonists, especially long term, looking at drugs that might be able to preserve or build up muscle mass. Are going to be the next generation where you'll see a lot more investment activity. But I think you will also see continued investment in neuro. There's going to be a lot more activity where you're starting to see the blending of devices like Neuralink and bioelectronics that will impact disease of the brain, but also some important drugs that I think will come forward to treat, you know, Parkinson's. You know, we saw the big deal with Karuna and BMS last year. In the approval, you know, of their schizophrenia drug. I think that's going to garner a lot of investment into that space as you look forward into the future.
In terms of the next generation of obesity, John, you'd mentioned all the things that are already in development that investors are expecting to have sort of, you know, readouts in the next year or so, whether it be oral medications or medications that also preserve muscle mass. Those are firmly in investor expectations, I think, in terms of what is coming to market. What are the things that you're investing in that are years down the line that we're not even thinking about that will leapfrog that next batch of obesity development?
Yeah, well, Portal is very focused on early stage investing. So oftentimes, you know, we're investing first institutional money going into companies like Pelagos Pharmaceuticals. They're developing an exercise mimetic. We're particularly excited about this potential mechanism, again, albeit very early in development. An exercise mimetic activates certain pathways that are beneficial for various diseases. And so if we can mimic what it's like to exercise, then we may have better effect on weight loss and preserving or building up muscle mass long term without the side effects, but also other related diseases that would benefit from exercise that we think about, you know, diabetes, Alzheimer's. So we're really excited about Pelagos. And then, you know, a company that spun out of MIT, Bob Langer's lab, and Gio Traverso's lab, still early in development, but approaching human clinical trials, a company called Syntis, which just unveiled some recent data showing very promising results that would be an alternative mechanism to the drugs that are currently being developed in the marketplace that you hear about today.